Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us for the Needham Council for Arts and Culture Public Arts Subcommittee. It is Valentine's Day edition, February 14th. And we're going to do a quick, because of the executive order, we are meeting virtually in a publicly accessible venue online. Please be careful because we're going to be recording this meeting. So anything that you have on your screen or heard in your background is public. So just be careful. Okay, that's my opening spiel. I'm not going to do the huge one. Amy, I have a couple questions for you to start us off. For our agenda, we're just doing the update on the mural, talking about the Pansy Festival celebration, the mural painting celebration, and some other business. But I wanted to start off by saying that we met in front of the select board. I'm going to give you since Joni wasn't at the meeting, I'll just give you a quick update. For the mural, we met the select board. There was general approval of the mural design of the pansies. That was exciting. Our next step is to go to the design review board. I submitted the documents for that, and we will be meeting them on February 27th. I'm sure that will go well. If any of you guys are interested in learning about that process, I'm happy to have someone come with us. It's usually
I'll come with you.
Yeah, if you'd like to come, and Amy will be. It's in person on February 27th. So that'd be awesome, Joni. Come, and it's just interesting to see how the review board works. I submitted a lot of information to them, so hopefully it's enough. And then so I have a bunch of questions out to RC, the painter, about what he needs for wall prep, what he needs, if he's going to store the scissor lift, what colors he's going to be using, because the design review board wanted to know that, but I just put in a bunch of colors and general idea. The colors are named really funny graffiti names, like they're not like Korean. Did I tell you this story? Because so you're the only artist in this group, I think, but our paint colors, like normally like a special like they're like named the same thing, so you can find the same things, but these are like called like banana and like really weird graffiti names.
All paint colors are weird.
Random, yeah. So
you get all kinds of, hence the yellow. I mean, really bizarre names.
So the artist hasn't gotten back to me. The frustrating part is that one of his emails is banned, so it fails every time I email him. So I finally got through to him on his website comment page and got an AOL email from him, but he does respond via text, but his responding via email isn't 100% amazing. Did I just lose you? So I'm waiting to hear back from those questions, and he said he's available most of April, so that's awesome in terms of the dates. But what I wanted to ask you, Amy, was do you have any like timeline on the town council's contract? RC submitted a contract to us, which was pretty simple, but we need to have town council review it. I think most of what he was saying in his contract, if I can read legalese, was basically like our rights to the artwork to show it, use the digital image later for promotional materials.
Let me follow up on that.
Yeah, okay. That'll be good to know, because I know you mentioned like they want to know insurance, and yeah, I'm sure I have asked him if he gets insurance, and I think that was assumed with the scissor lift. So that is the update on the process of that. What I wanted to talk about was the festival, because I know in the last meeting you guys were talking about celebrating the artwork. So it's going to take 3 to 5 days to go up. Obviously, it's rain and weather sensitive. He had said in his original design, April, he would like to do it in April because that's Pansy Month in Needham, and that would be, honoring the town. And in our past public art committee meetings, we've talked about trying to partner with the Pansy Festival, which is an event that happens in town that the Needham Historical Society has done, Needham Historical Center and Museum has done for a long time. I don't know if anybody remembered that at the last meeting, but that was an idea. So I did talk to Gloria Grice, who runs the History Center. And last year, they also partnered with the NC Wythe Reading and Library Room, Reading Foundation, NC Wythe Foundation and Reading Library. Have you ever heard of this? Okay, this is like amazing for our town. And so a woman bought NC Wythe's home on 178 South Street. They're turning it into a reading library for holding his collection of illustrations. He's a famous artist that used to live in Needham. So they are raising money for that. It's the daughter of LL Bean. Her name is Linda Bean. She bought this space. And last year for the Pansy Festival, Andrew Wythe, NC Wythe's grandson, his granddaughter came and did some lectures. So that was really interesting. Supposedly she is like, knows everything about his work, and it was really engaging, and they did tours of the space, the house. So I talked to both of them, and they're interested in sort of doing like a partnership with us where we do like a whole marketing thing for the Pansy Festival in April. Unfortunately, they can't do tours of the space anymore because it's under construction. So they talked about maybe doing an event at the Andrew Wythe room in the public library, which I also didn't know was there, and I don't think a lot of people know is there. So having like a lecture there in April, and so the History Center and Museum will have a pansy sale like they do every year, where they sell the flowers and people go gaga and they sell out really quickly. 10, I think it's from 10 to 3. Unfortunately, this year they're doing it on April 8th, and they don't want to change that date. And April 9th is Easter. April 8th is the last day of Passover. So I don't know whether that's a great time for us to try to do the mural painting. I don't know if that's a popular weekend. The other idea was to do it like a whole Pansy month, and then we'll have the artist paint later in the month, closer to like the weekend of the 22nd or the weekend of the 29th. There's a spring break that weekend for Needham Public Schools, but I'm not sure if that really matters or not. So the date is a question up to you guys. Does April 8th sound like a bad idea to y'all? It didn't like really jump out to me as a good time.
It's too crowded in the calendar with the holidays.
Yeah,
I think a Pansy month and having different things at the beginning, the middle, and the end of the month, culminating with the mural, reveal or mural presentation, whatever we do.
Okay.
I think that would be a better idea for people to function within that.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. I thought it'd be, and also like the later we get in April, the less likely it is to rain, because
Or snow.
Or snow. Or snow.
The worst snowstorm we ever had since I've lived here was in April. We lost power for 10 days.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was like 2015. I remember that, I think.
No. This was 1983 or 1984.
Oh, really?
April, I think it was April 1st.
Yeah. Okay.
It was brutal.
All right. Well, so I thought it would just be an awesome marketing thing to have this and they were excited about doing it all together. We will obviously be going to be running our own shebang, so we can kind of pick the date. And so I think probably we need to wait for the contract from town council to move forward. But I did ask the artist what dates in April would work for him. I asked him yesterday, so we'll see how long it takes him to get back to us.
Is a plan to have the artist to be at the festival to reveal it, or?
Well, so what I was thinking was, don't you think it's kind of more interesting to watch him paint than it is to like see the final product? Maybe at the end, like the last day, to see him really finishing up the artwork, or however the dates kind of play out. But I think the event itself as part, like we're gonna have the artwork for the rest of, hopefully for a good 20 years. I thought the interesting part was to see him do it. And I think
Okay.
part of his thing is to be doing these live art paintings they call it the art. His contract even says RC's live tour. So it's
Okay.
kind of like seeing him painting live is what's the excitement of it.
I think that if we do that, which I think is a fabulous idea, we need to coordinate with the police to close off the first part of that street, of West Street, from Highland Ave to the CVS parking lot for safety.
For safety. So what about some other venues? What about the parks like Thorpe Park or the Heights Common, or Gorse Mills actually also offered their space. So they have the outdoor space there too, depending on the weather, or we could do their indoor space. So maybe we could have like one thought was, there has been a request to do a parade before to us. So I thought maybe we could do a pansy parade and meet at like one of the spaces, either the park or Gorse Mills, and do like a craft activity that's like a paper pansy on a stick or something, and then everybody walks down to see it and then stops at the park, or that where we're not like, we're kind of like walking through the sidewalk but not standing, unless Amy really thinks that we can close down a road. I mean, I can't imagine that happening for West
If we
Street.
if we could do it, since I just got back yesterday, I have no idea what's the status of Starbucks. Is it permanently closed?
Not to my knowledge, right now they are open with a very limited
Right, till
schedule.
noon. So if we could do it in that part of that parking lot, let's say, close off part of the parking lot, so that
It's
we could
funny,
do-
Amy and I have been talking about those parking spots. People are like crazy about them. Do you not like the Heights Common Park
or
across
the
street?
Heights Common, I think would be great.
That was where you were thinking of having the blue tree lighting, but they didn't want you to do it because there was going to be too many people. What did they talk about? Like, this obviously wouldn't be as many people as the blue
Right.
tree lighting. What do you think about that, Amy?
I think that we would just need to consult with public safety, but I think an event that would be smaller in size would be doable in that park. And I think that would be preferable to closing down the street
Yeah.
and preferable to having it in a parking lot.
My concern about closing down the street is if people are watching him paint. I'm concerned about crisscrossing and running across the street and kids running, or whatever.
Yeah, that's why
just
in my
that
head,
little
I
bit
was
of
like,
time.
oh, in my head, let's do like a parade where we're just kind of walking through from one spot to the next, and we have like, I don't know, like a marching band, the teenage are plugged in, or some kind of band leading us, and we have flowers, and we kind of wander back and forth around it without actually stopping in the way for a long period of time. I don't know. That was
Well, if we had police, then we could do that very short, have it, focus it maybe for the kids and do stuff kid-centric at that little grassy area,
yeah.
and then have plugged in, and then just have the kids walk across the street to watch him for a little bit.
Yeah, that's kind of the idea. What do you guys think about that?
I like having it at the park, just
Yeah.
because maybe if it's on the weekend, which this most likely will be on, right? We
Yeah.
can make use of the parking like by the senior center, like where
Right.
that parking lot. So
Is that free on the weekend?
it's less people,
Oh,
less cars,
just
Right,
to
because
park
they're
and
not
walk over?
parking there for the train.
right?
Okay. Anybody, so when I was over at the History Center Museum, Gloria had these really huge pansies. They were beautiful on like this long stick. And I was like, those are incredible. Where did you get those? And she said she bought them at the candy store that used to be next to Harvey's Hardware.
Oh,
How long
Joel's.
ago was that? Like 30 years ago?
5 years, 4 years, 6 years.
Oh, really? I never
Yeah.
heard of that.
Joel's?
Joel's, yeah.
Maybe it's longer.
Huh.
That was the best place to get teachers' gifts at the end of the year.
Yeah. So one time Marianne Cooley had sent me an email saying, hey, look at this parade that they do in Atlanta. And it's like a paper lantern where the whole community decorates a lantern and lights up and puts it on a stick and they do a parade. So that was what made me think of the parade thing. And when I was a kid, I went to Disneyland and got like a tissue paper flower that was on like a super long stick. So it was kind of like a parasol that you kind of walked around with. And that's what I imagined, making something like that. Any other craft ideas? I guess we could make instruments or something so they could do a marching band. But so these are two things these would be things for kids and the music and the watching the mural. Is that enough?
We could have face painting of pansies and other kinds of stuff. We could have,
Oh, that's cool.
we could have crafts, painting, cutting out pansies, sticking them on a stick. We could have pansy seeds and let kids put them in little tiny pots and bring the seeds home.
Oh, that's cute. Plant your own pansy. Do you think we should try to get the Needham Community Farm involved? Or we have enough partners? Plant your own pansy. Face painting, plant your own pansy.
I think Needham Garden Center could sponsor us and give us those little tiny pots and the bags of pansy seeds and some potting soil.
Oh, that's a good idea. All right, so Amy, since we already threw you under the bus for doing something, do any of these activities or parts of this interest you at all? There's also the idea of, I don't know how we would do the marketing with Gloria and Michael. Like they said they do have a marketing team, but I imagine we'll have to come up with like flyer all together. So that's like someone who has like a marketing design thing. Do any of these, like organizing one of these craft activities or things, interest you, Amy? Miss Lamb?
Oh, okay. There's
What's
two
that gonna
Amy's,
be?
so I get confused.
Sorry. Well, I already threw you on, someone threw you under the bus at the beginning, at the last meeting, so that's why I was calling you out again.
No, I think they're great ideas. I think the more sponsors or vendors that we have, it gets a little bit complicated, but if like the garden center is willing to donate X number of pots or soil or something, seeds, then obviously we would market them as well and put them on our flyers or marketing collateral. So as a thank you, but I'm not sure how the town works in terms of like, I can't imagine that we would be paying them for anything, correct?
Right.
Yeah, I don't even think even if we couldn't get them, but just buying pansy seeds probably isn't that expensive. The dirt is pretty much free at the town dump, and you just need a little pots, which I actually have a bag of them, that they're not that expensive either.
The little 2-inch pots.
Yeah, they're like the little, what are they made out of? Like
Peat,
some
they're
kind
called peat pots.
Yeah.
Pots.
Yeah, so they're made out of peat. Yeah.
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 I would hope we'd need 100 or so.
Yeah,
not-
asking them to donate that.
Yeah.
And yeah, that would be something. Okay. Does someone want to do that one, in charge of that one? And then finding music and then sourcing for like a craft, which is the pansy stick thing. But,
Staples.
yeah, I can look
Except
on.
Staples, you have to go through corporate.
Remember for the harvest fair, Amy Lamb, should I just call you Miss Lamb, Amy Lamb? Do you remember the sticks we made with the ribbons?
Yeah, and we started getting them from the trees and the ground because we ran out.
That was so funny when we ran out of the actual sticks. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I was thinking, but maybe just bigger, and instead of ribbons, just tissue paper flowers or something like that.
Yeah, I was thinking tissue paper would be easier for the kids to like fold and kind of crimp
Yeah, I think you take like a piece of tissue paper, you fold it. Corinne, you're the artsy.
in the
girl.
middle, right?
Then you put like like a twist tie or something around
Right.
it, and you mush it, and then you just tie it to the end.
We
or
used to
put it-
do
Right.
it with tissues. Tissues
Yeah.
used to come in different colors. So you could get a box of Kleenex and there would be blue, pink, yellow, and green. And we would make them with that. We would do that same thing, and then you could pull it out and you would have a carnation.
Yeah, yeah.
But for pansies are not as 3D as that. I was thinking maybe also having paper to cut out and glue together in the middle, or just use one of those metal things with the prongs, stick it together and stick it on a stick.
Oh, like a windmill type thing?
Yeah,
So-
like they're that kind of thing.
Yeah, because it's like like 2 big petals, 2 small.
Yeah,
petals.
with 2 little ones.
I wasn't actually really even trying to make it look like a pansy, I guess.
Yeah, I was like, wow, that seems a lot more.
I wasn't really, I was
Yes.
just like a purple and yellow tissue paper in a flower-like shape or something. I don't know.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. So that was it. If we assign those couple of like research projects to figure out how we do this, I think we have a little bit of funding with in our general funds. We could spend like $100.
Well,
Yeah,
I'll
like
go,
100
I'll go
bucks.
over to the
Koreans
Needham
is
Garden
like-
Center. I don't mind going over there and talking to them. And
Okay, that'd be awesome. Amy, do you have Amy Lamb, are you tapped into music at all? If anybody who would be able to play at the event? I don't know, I'm thinking plugged in band maybe, or I was just imagining like a couple people with brass instruments who can like lead us.
I wouldn't know. My kids are out of high school, so they're in college now, so I wouldn't even know. I mean, they themselves have played.
What do they
Um,
play?
instruments.
I'll call Plugged In. He's a friend of, my son worked with him. His daughter's a friend of my kids, so I know him from a million years ago.
Corinne, did you have your mouth open?
I did. I was going to say I could contact them as well. They just signed up for Needham Open Studios.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, they did.
That's awesome. Have you ever had non-visual arts?
Nope.
That's
This is
super
our first
cool.
time. Yeah. Yeah.
That's fabulous.
Yeah.
Oh, what an awesome thing.
Yeah. So they signed up as their space and they're going to have musicians rotate throughout the weekend, like 2-hour slots or whatever.
Have you ever thought about asking the Needham channel? Because they're next door, aren't they?
Are they?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Plugged in band and the Needham channel are really close to each other. Am I crazy? Because they're right behind like Ray's new garden.
Okay.
Amy, did you just like Amy Helson, did you just go like this? You're not crazy or you are crazy? They're right next to each other, aren't they?
I think they're close. I'm not sure if they're right next to each other.
Wait, close. Okay. I was looking them up on a map the other day. That's why. Sweet. Have you ever heard of Honk Fest? It's where they like do like a marching band with like brass instruments. That's what I had in my head as like someone walking down the road with a saxophone leading us like ducks. The other Joni, if you could reach out to them, that'd be awesome. The only other option I was thinking, at one point, Amy Helfand, do you remember like last year a band reached out to us on the contacts page and was like, hey, I got a band and you got anywhere for us to play? I don't know who they were. They might have been a teenage plugged in band. Anyways, we could try them if that doesn't work out.
Yeah, I don't recall, but I can go back through emails and see if I can dig it out.
Speaking of while I have you, I replied to that group of teenagers for the capstone project, but they didn't reply back. Do you think someone else from the town already got in touch with them?
No, because it was forwarded to me and it was asked
Because
how
they
it was going to
wanted
be handled. So
one of the dates was tomorrow and they didn't reply. So anyways, okay, I think that was
What if we spoke to the young woman who was on the committee at
Tara.
the very beginning, Tara, and
Yeah,
asked her if there would be some high school kids interested in helping out that day, doing some
That's a
face
great idea.
painting, doing some art stuff. And
yeah,
that
maybe,
way,
yeah, face painting, that'd be super cool.
right,
Using
that
one of the
way we get
crafts.
more, we get more kids of different ages involved and we get more families involved. And, she helped choose the design, so to speak. So this would be a nice thing to have her come through and see the beginning of it.
That'd be awesome. We can also ask if plugged in band doesn't work out, we can also ask Kristen, our former chair. She's in the fine arts department at the high school. I'm sure she could recommend someone to, and that might be good to tap into the high school too. But plugged in band is mostly high school students anyways, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Junior high
So Joni, you're gonna do that and then Needham Garden Center. Amy,
Yeah.
are you any interested in Lamb in thinking about like craft activity, like a,
Do you want me to go to like Michael's or the Learning Express to ask them if they would by chance even donate tissue paper and like those, what do you call those? I'm thinking it's like the stick thing.
yeah,
They're like
yeah,
big straws usually.
yeah, I mean, that would be.
Straws.
that
I'm
would be
thinking of
neat.
the fuzzy thing, like that you can
Oh,
twist.
pipe
Oh,
cleaners.
pipe cleaners?
Pipe cleaners, yes.
Yes, we would
Oh,
need
just
those.
like 2 steps, like tissue paper and that pipe cleaner, like
Yeah,
that's all we would need.
I was actually thinking, yes, but I was thinking if we made it like longer, like an actual parasol, so that you need the tissue paper and the pipe cleaner, but you need like a long stick, like bigger than the ribbon one we did.
Yeah,
Something that's sort of like a umbrella / parasol.
Those, those dowels get expensive.
Yeah,
I
Yeah.
use them in artwork. They get very expensive.
yeah, they do.
So I'm not
That's
sure
why
we find
donating
somebody
would-
to
it would be
donate
like-
them.
Donating would be a super option. Yeah, or just look online, Amy, and see what you,
Hmm,
if you even
okay.
like source how expensive they are.
Amazon sells them in packs of up to 100.
That's where I got the sticks for the ribbons. I just bought them there. And
Yeah.
then I got 100.
But we
of-
need something longer is what you're saying.
Yeah, I was thinking like, yeah, longer.
Because I have
Unless-
tons of chopsticks at home, so from takeout.
That's what we were saying last
Like
time.
this-
Like, I wish we had brought chopsticks. Yeah. Or I'm just gonna have to go to the woods and pick up a lot of sticks from the woods.
Okay, I can look
After
up.
the storm, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah. All right, I think that was everything. Amy Helston, could you check in and see if that Heights Common space is even possible? Okay, thank you. That was all I had on that. I'll follow up with Tara.
Do we want like a food truck or anything like that? Like, or we don't do food like at these types of events? Just to draw people there.
So food trucks are allowed in that
Are
section of
not?
town, or they are not.
Okay.
Charlie, or actually the whole group, do we have a date for this? So if you want me to see if this, the Heights Common is very rarely used for any kind of gathering or event, but do we have a specific date in mind?
So I guess if it's too early, the last 2 weekends in April is April 22nd and April 29th. The 22nd is the end of that spring break. That was the one Gloria and Michael said would be the best one for us to do. They are doing a great hall performance at Powers Hall. But because the 29th is the Needham History Center Spring Fling, their gala event, which why she was like, don't do it on the 29th. But so I would say 22nd or 29th. I don't know. The weekend before is what is that, the 15th?
15th.
Yeah, and that's the first weekend of spring break. So the set 22nd is the last weekend of spring break. I don't know. What are you guys' thoughts? Spring break would be terrible.
Yeah.
29th.
Families go away.
Families do go away even on the 15th. I'm thinking my son, he's in college. And I may be going to Missouri to see his volleyball tournament because it's college break that time too.
No. So 29th actually is probably better. I mean, she doesn't necessarily need to come. I don't know.
Well, the
Hi,
weather's,
Heather.
you know, the weather's probably better then anyway
Yeah,
for an outdoor event. You don't want to do it in 50-degree weather, but then again, with this winter, who knows?
yeah, I would say probably the last weekend in April and is probably better just because it gives us more time too.
What's a time frame, like a 10 a.m. or is it more like late afternoon?
Yeah, I would say earlier afternoon, like that would be my guess, but
1 to 3?
yeah, and this all depends on if the artist can do that time, but yeah.
Mm.
The one, maybe, no, does 11 to 1 sound?
Lunchtime for little kids. If you want, you know, a bunch of little kids, it's kind of,
Yeah, then what did you say? 1 to 3?
yeah.
1 to 3? Yeah, doesn't bother me, yeah.
And
Which
do
day
we
of the
have a,
week? Sorry, I'm hopping in so late. Are you talking about a Saturday or a Sunday or?
We're talking about Saturday, the last Saturday for April 29th, 1 to 3 for we're gonna do like a pansy parade. And the idea it would be in Heights Common. And we would have a band, possibly marching band, where we'd walk by the mural with a giant pansy on a stick, kind of like a parasol craft activity kids could make. Maybe some face painting with the teenagers. Your daughter is now going to do some face painting, Heather, for all the kids. And maybe
Only if
Tara
she can
will
do it. Only if she can do it with her friends. That's the
Yeah, that'd
only
be
way to get her
awesome.
to do it.
absolutely.
Either
Without
that
her
or
friends, it ain't
she
gonna
can lead the
happen.
the pansy planting. We were thinking about doing that. Get some pansy
Oh,
seeds.
and can they get volunteer hours? That's the other.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
What if we did like a 10 to 12 if this is a 2-hour span? I'm just thinking of if we want little kids and families, like they're up early and they, 12 o'clock we can conclude and they can go to lunch or whatever. So
Yes.
That's
But
fine.
then you
with me.
have teenage face painters. That could be. I'm kidding, but
but they get volunteer hours, so that can push them to
Getting
wake up.
them out of bed, right?
yeah, exactly.
Remember, for teenagers, you have to start everything later.
I'm just thinking of traffic too, like
I'm
it
totally
may be
kidding.
less traffic
Yeah.
earlier than later,
Hmm.
right in the middle of the afternoon.
Although that
think you're
area
right
is
in-
only trafficy for bagels on Sunday mornings.
Well, this is Saturday, so
This is
Oh, that's true.
Saturday.
I guess Saturday too. Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, I think we'd have to check in with the artist, but yeah.
Mm.
All right, so
imagine.
some 2-hour time frame
Some 2
between
hours
10
on-
and 3.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
For some crafts and some music and celebrating the mural being painted.
I
Um,
just found on Amazon 100 1/4 inch by 12-inch bamboo sticks for $13.29.
What? That doesn't sound right.
Yeah,
How big are they? 12-inch?
12 inches.
Oh, yeah.
That's too
I'm
small,
talking like
then.
30 inches. I'm
Yeah.
talking like,
But you've got little
She
kids.
wants like
you
an
can't-
umbrella.
yeah, I'm talking like umbrella size.
With little
Oh, yeah,
kids.
24 inches, 24, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you could do one little 12.
Well, you could have a mix, the real long and the little ones.
That's true.
Okay, I think I'll catch you up about it after, Heather, but
Okay, and there'll be some pansy sword fighting when they get
pansy,
too long.
that's exactly
Yeah.
right. Some pansy, weaponized pansy.
Should we see if the garden the garden club, if they have pansies, maybe they can even sell some, or is that like to the
Well, that's
adults?
what the Historical Society does.
Oh,
Even if
okay.
they're not gonna do it on our date, that's their thing.
Oh,
Yeah, they're
okay.
having it there earlier, so.
Yeah, and they're gonna do it at their venue on April 8th, but it will be part of our marketing, so I wouldn't want to steal that. I said to them, if you have any left over, they would bring them and sell them, but they've been known to sell out soon, and they didn't want to buy any more just because they're a pain in the butt to keep around and take care of for the next one.
Okay.
That was it.
Okay.
Okay, so the only other 2 questions I had for you guys is total other business, and only because I have you right here. On March 19th is a multicultural festival for the town. So I was talking to one of the organizers about getting us a table there, or just having some council members volunteering to hand out the passports. And so we would have like a button. So if she has an extra table, she's gonna give it to us. If not, if some people will just be there and wear a button that represents us. If anyone's around on March 19th, put it in your calendar. And I'm going to email people to see if anyone's available to volunteer. And then the second thing is we had an off-cycle request for funding. And the reason I'm asking is because if this is something that the council is interested in, it's at Town Hall on April 26th, and it's a big name presenter. It's Doris Kearns Goodwin. She's a historian. And so the Friends of the Library is looking for sponsors to help fund it because I think it's expensive, but Doris Kearns Goodwin is doing it for super cheap. It's like a fireside chat presentation with Jared Bowen from GBH, who's going to be like doing like a Q&A with her. I told her that it would be something we would certainly fund within our cycle, but this is off cycle, so it's harder for us to do. What did you guys think about funding things off cycle?
I don't have a problem necessarily unless you think it's gonna become,
Set precedent.
yeah, separate, yeah. And also, set precedent, and then also it's supposed to be, I mean, we would fund it anyway, but it should be, shouldn't it? Is it essentially grant money, or is it separate from that? Is it from other funds? Like, where does it come from? Because if it's grant money, it should be considered within, along with all the other people that have applied.
Yeah. Yes.
But if it comes from some other extra slush fund that we have the money set aside, I think that maybe you need to have everybody vote on it. I don't know what.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think everybody would vote on it.
Yeah,
But I don't.
if it's a
Is it worth
sponsored,
bringing up to the group in March? The events in April. Yeah, just having our name tied to something that's such a high profile event is a good thing. But if it's
how much are they looking for? Did they tell you?
Yeah, they need like $30,000. They submitted a like a whole. They're looking for funding from lots of sources. And
$30,000?
yeah, they need a lot of money.
Just for the one speaker.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. She did a whole breakdown for what she needed. It's Deborah Balin. She's used to have Amy's role in Needham, and she was the lead of our council. So she knows how council grants work. She then went to Newton and she's retired and now is on the library board. But at least talking to her was interesting because they told her all about our grant issues with the library right now. So she's going to bring that back to them and talk to them more about that. So that was kind of helpful. Okay, well.
If we sponsor them, because it would be a sponsorship as opposed to a grant, do we run the risk of having a lot of other organizations start coming to us, asking us for sponsorships?
I don't know, do we? We don't
And
really, I mean,
if we do that,
I guess
then I
that's my
think,
question. If that was something that happened often, I don't think that is something that happens often. We don't have, since I've been here, we've only had one other grant that asked for funding after the deadline. It was because they messed up the actual grant and missed the deadline through the MCC. But then they didn't even do their event anyway, so we didn't need to evaluate it. Yeah.
Yeah, my concern as the treasurer is that we have that bizarre little thing with the town funding versus the state funding.
Yeah.
And we do want to keep a reserve just in case we have to dip into that.
So Corinne, what about if we have some of the town funding that's not spent by June? We could give it to them and that would be useful.
If we have enough to cover everybody through the end of the year. in terms of grants.
I mean, are they
distribution.
looking just for sort of like they're probably spreading out to get whatever they can, because
They
that's a
probably
big,
do a token amount.
yeah,
Okay.
that's what I was,
Well, I mean, obviously we can't give them we wouldn't even, their lowest sponsorship level is $1,000 and I'm not even sure we'd be willing
Yeah.
to do that.
I mean, we'll have a better idea of how the town funding is working out by April. I don't know how soon they would need the money.
They said, I did ask them that, they said they wanted it sooner, but I think even after the event, if they don't make their money, they would probably want it, but I don't know.
That
It was
might
just,
be doable.
I thought I'd bring it to you guys to talk about, but
Charlie, when is this happening?
April 26th,
April 26th.
did you, yeah, it's pretty, I mean, it's in a couple months. I have a high, I anticipate that she'll be able to raise the money, so or that the event will sell out and they'll be able to cover it, but
you know how much the tickets are? Or-
I think they're gonna do them as $50, but I also think they're gonna do something like a special preview thing where you can pay more and come to a VIP kind of part of it. Anyways, that's going on. So that was the last thing I wanted to mention, but thank you guys for spending 45 minutes in the middle of your day to chat about this.
Nothing.
We all have little jobs and short amount of time, so we'll check in at our next meetings. Does anybody know March 7th or 17th or something? I know there's a 7 in there somewhere.
Is that on Zoom?
Yeah, and Amy, that's final question. The executive order is ending, so is this gonna be our last virtual meeting, or are they they're doing that whole thing where they can figure out whether we can do virtual meetings again?
I anticipate that we will find out probably very late before the deadline.
The
What's the
executive or-
deadline?
Yeah, March 31st or March 1st?
It's March 31.
Yeah.
Okay, so at least we'll be able to have one more Zoom meeting. See you guys then. Thanks.
Thanks.
Call me or text me if you have questions. Bye.
I-
Bye.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Bye.
You